Hey, what's up, you guys? So, again, I guess I can't post on here consistently, but I appreciate those of you that come back and do watch every time I come back on. I thought I'd get on here because, the obvious, everything that's going on. And I realize more than most how difficult this coronavirus thing can be for people with corn allergies. So, I mean, let's talk about it for a second, yeah? So, I'll just tell you how it's been for me. Obviously, health my own health is my number one concern, on top of having, gut problems that have been ongoing. I have asthma, and, that puts me at higher risk if I do get it. But I've also done all this work on my health and have gotten to a state of knowing my body to the point where I'm not afraid. I'm just not. And that's not to say I think that fear about this is necessarily wrong. You should protect yourself. And, we all need to be responsible for our own health. Always, not just during a pandemic. You should always be thinking about what you eat and how you wash your hands and how you interact with people and that kind of stuff. I know that some of you with corn issues have autoimmune issues. I know that some of you are probably functioning with a lower immune system and are really scared of getting sick. Do what you can to protect yourself. Stay home if you can, if that's the thing. And I've been lucky enough that I can stay at home if I really had to, but I'm not worried enough that I haven't done a few grocery store trips myself too. So I would say the most annoying part about this whole quarantine situation is not necessarily the food stuff even, it's the never having a moment really alone. I always know that if I'm down here in my garage, sorry if you hear the humming from the lights because I'm in my garage, or if I'm outside in the backyard, my husband and my son are right there and they're waiting for me to come back in. It's never alone. And, having to deal with trying to get William to homeschool. He's 7 and he was just getting used to school and he doesn't want to do schoolwork at home. Luckily, this week's supposed to be spring break, so we get to take a break, but then we're going to jump back in. We're going to set schedules and we're going to figure this out. And Jake is home for the foreseeable future, and we'll have to make adjustments to make sure he still graduates on time, but it's gonna happen, and it's all going good. I promise. I know that sounded not optimistic, but I'm actually really optimistic that this is actually okay, and it's more motivation for us. And yeah, so okay, about food. Let's get to food. So I've said, I've been to the grocery store a few times. I went when the shelter in place was first announced. I went to a grocery store and everything was cleared out. It was hard to find anything I could have, even produce. So I've been lucky enough that I've been able to find safe beans. So I have a safe pinto bean and a safe black bean. And if I wanted it, a safe garbanzo bean, but I haven't found a way I like making them yet. And I've been able to cook with those. The farmers markets around me are still open. I don't think the downtown Campbell one is open, which is actually right down the street from my house. But the Saratoga one and the Mountain View one near me were open. So I haven't gone to those personally. Actually, Jake goes out, and the farmers market is where we work with my meat vendor. The meat that they come with is already frozen, so, it's automatically something we could just put back in the freezer and we don't have to worry about it going bad right away. And then at the farmer's market, if we can, some produce, but produce hasn't been so bad since that shelter in place was first announced. So I mean, there's still a few things that have been hard to find. Like, we haven't been able to find My Safe avocado oil, but the Whole Foods 360 brand actually isn't doing anything wrong. When the shelter in place was first announced, Jake also bought a shit ton of eggs, like 60 eggs, and we literally just finished them. So that was actually really helpful and really stretched out our meals, and my stomach actually did really well on those. It's been harder to find some things that like I want to have that not necessarily are need to haves. So I got super addicted, like super addicted to Hail Mary dark chocolate almond butter tarts. They are so good. Like, think healthy Reese's for people with peanut allergies and like, you know, can't have anything. But yeah, they are amazing. Haven't been able to find those, but we've done. Jake just texted me. I'm waking William up. So even though we haven't been able to find my favorites, we've been able to find other, you know, sweet things that I enjoy. I just got a couple of chocolate bars back, so chocolate bars and Vixen Kitchen ice cream has worked for me, but I think it's only Northern California based, so sorry. It's also really expensive. And also, before I forget, a good way to get fresh fruit, if you can't find it at the store right now, is to go to Asian stores. They're really seeing a decline in numbers right now, so if you have one near you, go support them. Get some pears, get some coconuts, whatever you could have. And aside from that, I've been having lots of rice too. So I just trialed rice again not that long ago, and that's also helped. Like, you know, I've talked about how some of the ways that we've been tracking my issues is the quality and quantity of my bowel movements, and that like being an indicator of my gut health. So let's just say things are going great. Also, just to update you guys, like very briefly on my health situation, I have done a GI map, which is looking at all of my gut flora and the immune factors in my gut. And we've done one of those every single year since I started seeing Dr. Joe. And this year's was pretty perfect. It was actually really good. Like, he said, you know, any other normal person that doesn't have what you have been dealing with, when I look at their gut, they're going to look something like this. You know, a few things were off, but not very off. And then a couple things were very off still. But overall, doing better and less sensitive, and it's just all going good. So yeah, quarantine sucks though, because like I said, I want to be alone and I'm tired, and what even is time anymore? But we'll get through this. And I hope that if you are having trouble finding food, you can find resources. I actually haven't been on that corn group in years, what feels like years now, but like I don't go on Facebook anymore, and I'll do a video on why I don't go on Facebook anymore sometime soon. I have to go because apparently I'm waking William up with my noise down here. So until next time, have a safe quarantine.